Hello, this is Romanosky from the Distinctive Collection in Calgary, Canada. And what we have here is a pretty special car. This is a 1983 Ferrari 512 Berlinetta Boxer. And so this is the last of the Boxer series. It's the injected car. And the 512 would have replaced the Ferrari Daytona as Ferrari's flagship in 1973, and then been replaced by the Testarossa in the mid-80s. So this car was Ferrari's first mid-engine road car, and it would have echoed the mid-engine racing cars, the P3s and the P4s, which would have competed with the Porsche 917 and so on in endurance racing. So it's a Pininfarina body. It's absolutely gorgeous, and if you're a child of the 80s, you remember the Road and Track magazine covers with this car pitted against the Lamborghini Countach. So they made about less than 2,500 Boxers in the whole series, from 73 to 1984. The first cars were called 365 GTBBs, and the 365 would have been the displacement of one cylinder times 12, which would have been a 4.4 liter carbureted engine. And they only made about 400 of those, and they're probably the most collectible, but the most demanding to drive. They increased the displacement to 5 liters and redid the nomenclature, and the next version was called the 512 BB, and they made about 1,000 of those. And then this car, they would have added the CIS Bosch K Jetronic fuel injection system to it, and then it became the 512 BBI, and they made about another 1,000 of these. So this is the last of the series, and the fuel injection, which would be similar to the 80s Porsche and Mercedes cars, makes this definitely the easiest car to drive of the lot. So all Boxers are gray market cars because they were never allowed. Allowed importation into the U.S. through the regular channels, and so we have all the paperwork and the DOT and the EPA releases for this car, and it came up from North Carolina about 5 years ago, a bit more than that. It was given its a $22,000 service, including a belt change, including a 2B exhaust. The ignition was changed to an MSD electronic ignition. So the car has about 35,000 kilometers on it, and we have a whole stack of invoices dating back from the EPA and the DOT release. So I would say this car is an excellent driver. You can find Boxers that are bubble wrapped with the plastic still on the sills and delivery mileage only. But they're really museum pieces at that point. To get the car operational, you'd have to go through everything from the fuel to the brakes to the fuel tank, etc., etc. And those cars don't run that well, and they tend to smoke a lot because the oil pools in the horizontal cylinders. And this car, when you start it, aside from the small blue puff that they had when they were new, it doesn't smoke. It drives really well. It tracks straight. It stops true. It wears, from what I can tell, all of the original paint. It's not perfect. They never were perfect from the factory, and you can see the odd blemish on the car. But you have to look really close. The interior it's never been painted. The speakers and the stereo have never been replaced, and the leather has a wonderful original patina that you just can't get with a restored car, and you certainly don't get it if you just get the leather paint and spray it to make it look good. So it's I would say this is a very, very honest car that's been regularly driven and maintained, and it got everything it needed. from Mark specialists who knew what they were doing. It has the original steering wheel, the original parts. Nothing's been done to it. Nothing's been modified, and it drives really nicely. So if you're in the market for what has got to be one of the most iconic and desirable 80s supercars, this is a great example that you can take out and enjoy. And if you get a rock chip or something, it's not the end of the world. And you can feel free to exercise the car as Enzo intended, and have a lot of fun with it. So we've just opened up the rear clamshell, which that together with the front makes the car look quite dramatic. Very 70s race car. And what we have is an engine bay. This car has been driven. It hasn't gone off to get pimped and preened for resale. It's like I said, it's an honest car. We can see the Bosch CIS injection here, and what's comforting about that is just about anybody who is familiar with 80s European cars can work on the system. Very elegant design and very simple, and it works really well. The car is very dry. It doesn't make any odd noises. It develops good power. It doesn't smoke. And this is an excellent driving car. It had its last major 5 years ago at a cost of $22,000. And so normally with the Ferraris you'd probably do a major every 5 years and change the belts. So that could be done at present. The AC was changed to R134. It has an updated MSD electronic ignition, and the 2B exhaust was put on the car. See the MSD coil right there. Moving along to the front, we've got the crinkle coat, which is still in really nice shape, but again the original finish on the car. And we've got the trickle charger that's been wired in, and this is the way the car came from new. So it's the original finish. The car has been federalized, and we can see that by the front marker lights and so on. We've seen cars where they've been restored and those lights have been taken out and refitted to the Euro specs, and that isn't an arduous task. There's a bumper reinforcement there, there's the lights, and the cats have already been removed, and the 2B is in place. So anyway, we like this car a lot. It comes from a well-known local collector and multiple Ferrari owner. He's knows how to drive the car and looked after the car properly. And we have it on consignment in our dealership here. And you can talk to the original owner or talk to me about the car and go through the paperwork if you'd like to see the evidence of all the work done. But all in all, it's a great driving car. And it's a great example of the last version of the iconic Ferrari supercar. This is the flat 12 engine, which is the last example of that, which echoes the 312 T Series Grand Prix cars. It's like I said, if you're a product of the 80s, you remember eagerly reading the Road and Track articles, because this car would do 180 miles an hour back then, and that was about as good as it gets. So thanks for viewing. It's Lromanosky from the Distinctive Collection in Calgary, Canada, and would be happy to go through this car in more detail with you. Thank you.